Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm GS from Kolosal, and this is our Jack Harlow review from our last podcast available on Spotify. Link is in the description. Also, make sure to check us out on the socials Instagram, Twitter, all of it. Those will also be available in the description. And make sure to leave a like if you liked the video, comment if you have anything you'd like us to hear, and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's move on to That's What They All Say, the new Jack Harlow project. I should say his first studio album. I should mention that. So congratulations to Jack Harlow.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, huge. Obviously, he blew up. He's been in the game for a few years now, but he really blew up in the mainstream earlier this year with his single "What's Poppin'" that came out early, I think in January or February, very early on this year. Signed to DJ Drama's label, and he's been having a lot of success recently. Got some features from Tory Lanez, from DaBaby, from Lil Wayne. So he's really been doing his thing, and then he dropped this debut album, which was preceded by the single "Way Out" with Big Sean. That came out the day before with a pretty nice music video. And on this album, we find features such as Lil Baby, Big Sean, of course, Chris Brown, Adam Levine from Maroon 5, which was really took me by surprise. ESTG, Static Major, Bryson Tiller, obviously the What's Poppin' remix, which we mentioned before. So a nice list of features. This album is 14 tracks, 15 if you count the What's Poppin' remix. I guess, Noah, let's start with you. What did you think of Jack's debut work?
Yeah, so as you guys know, I don't listen to Jack Harlow too often. So I was impressed. It's hard to come out with a debut album after having so many EPs and singles that were big hits, especially one to the degree of What's Poppin'. So when I was listening through to this, I was actually surprised by the depth that Harlow has. I was actually pretty impressed. And I loved 21C/Delta. He was talking about kind of his come up and how his life has changed. Now people, show fake love, all kind of stuff that comes with being a famous rapper, I would assume, not that I know. And I really liked that track. And I also loved Route 66 with ESTG. Those were the two songs that really popped out to me when I listened it through. Tyler Hero is a pretty good song, or Hero.
Yep.
But it was a single.
One of my songs of the year.
Really? Okay. Yeah,
I
thought it was a
one
pretty
of
good
songs
one.
of the year. Definitely top 15 songs of the year.
Really?
Ooh. 15, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I liked how he was bringing in a lot of Kentucky vibes and, putting on for the LOU. Was kind of, discounting Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller was doing it first, but it's okay. Jack Harlow's having his era as well. Also found out Jack Harlow's 10 days older than me, which was pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah.
When I was looking up how old he was. So
he looks older.
Yeah.
He's been releasing stuff for a while, though.
Yeah,
a real long time.
Oh, yeah.
But this is his debut album, like it's first studio album.
Yeah. And I think...
So I think for having a debut studio album, as I said, after releasing some successful singles and a lot of EPs, it delivered. Just like Cudi. Definitely, I think it delivered more than Cudi did.
Yeah.
Just because it's so hard to release a debut album and have it be a success. And I think it was really a body of work. I think that each song, for the most part, except for some of the sad boy songs, were different. So I would give it, a 7.5 just to be different from the Cudi. But it delivered. That's my end.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis. I think.
Thank you.
I think I agree with you. 21C/Delta. It might be my favorite song on the project as well, Noah. I do like Way Out with Big Sean a lot as well. The video was pretty cold. Drewski, of course, was in it. He seems to be in every video at the moment. And then Face of My City. I really like Face of My City with Lil Baby. I like Route 66 as well. I like Creme, however you pronounced it. Tyler Hero with What's Poppin', Baxter Avenue. I mean, I think in general, Jack shows a lot of versatility on this album. I think he shows he's got a really good pen. He can sing. He's got great choice of production. So I guess to continue expanding on that, Sean.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this project. I've been listening to Jack Harlow for a minute now, and it's weird to think that this is his first album, just considering he's been making music and putting out music ever since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that this is actually his first studio album, I'm still kind of adjusting to that. But no, I really enjoyed it. I would say it met my expectations in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked, let's see, I love 21C Delta, probably one of my favorite tracks on there for sure. I like Keep It Light a lot. It had a really smooth flow to it. It like kept a simple bounce to it. I actually like the Adam Levine song as well. Adam Levine, he didn't play a large singing role in it, but my guess is he played a big part in the production.
Absolutely.
Which, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And, that song speaks to his versatility on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was expecting an album that was sort of going to follow in the footsteps of What's Poppin', of like, just like a crazy song that goes hard in a beat. Like Jack Harlow can spit on a beat. He can put down like a good chorus, a good verse, a good melody, and you can trust that it's going to be a hit. But I feel like the majority of this album was him sort of diving into parts of his sound and parts of his vocals that, I don't know, we haven't necessarily heard before, which I can totally appreciate. And it speaks to his, I would say, his growth mindset of like always trying new things and being willing to go out of the box. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. If I was to give it a rating, I think it would definitely be above Cudi. So I'd probably say 7.5, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's another high rating for Jack from the Kolosal Boys. I think I agree with you guys. For me, this album's in the 8.5 range. I've been bumping it a lot last few days, so really like this album. Kalen, how about you? Are you a fan of the new Jack Harlow project, of Jack Harlow in general?
Yeah. To be honest, so I'm kind of like knew about Jack Harlow before, but I've never really I've listened to a couple of the songs just because he never really had that. He never had a breakout song until What's Poppin', really. So I mean, I think the issue with What's Poppin', and which I've seen the issue with a lot of songs that have been coming out in the past year, is that there's not a lot of opportunity. Like, people aren't really listening to the radio anymore. People aren't going out to clubs. There's no parties aren't happening as often. Hopefully parties really aren't happening. But there's not, so I think like the issue with What's Poppin' is when it dropped and I think when it dropped, it became big, but of course it took a couple of weeks to have that mainstream success because Jack Harlow wasn't a huge mainstream artist. But once the song became mainstream, everyone was kind of on the beginning of lockdown and it wasn't able to have the elevation of what it could have had if it dropped a couple months earlier, because everyone was stuck in quarantine, the clubs were closed, people weren't going out as much. And I really think that one thing though, the What's Poppin' remix, I also thought was kind of like, it just had a bunch of it was meant for radio play kind of. But I think that kind of helped his career and elevated him to get a song with DaBaby, Tory Lanez, Lil Wayne, and people are going to look. And then What's Poppin', I think really helped him in the sense of not his style, but just getting a name out there for himself. But I really like this, and I think he's kind of, for the past 4 or 5 years, he's kind of been trying to find a name for his own style, and I think this really delivers it. One thing though, I think that this album shows a lot of potential. I hope this isn't going to be his best album. I think his follow-up albums are going to be a lot better. One thing though is that, I think it was good that he had a lot of big name features, Big Sean, Lil Baby, and probably my favorite songs were the Rendezvous, the intro song, Face of My City.
Rendezvous was fire.
Yeah.
Funny Seeing You Here.
Also good.
Keep It Light, Route 66, Baxter Avenue. Tyler Hero was overall my favorite song in the project. But I'm like I think that he's going to have to be, his career, he's going to have to be really steady about it. His name isn't that huge yet. He's from Kentucky. Not a lot of people from Kentucky. Like, he's coming from like a really small scene. And who's he signed to? He signed to DJ Drama, right?
Yeah.
So Generation Now, which known from Uzi, like, he can get screwed over by Generation Now. And so I think he really has to, like, he doesn't have a lot of huge cosigns from big name rappers. He's under Generation Now, like, and he's just finding his style now. I think he has a chance to be really successful and be a really good artist. And I'm maybe not one of the best artists of our generation, but definitely a more respectable and better artist than he is, an accomplished artist than he is now. But he also has a lot of potential to not succeed in that way. But I really hope he does end up succeeding.
Yeah, I think what's interesting with him, I believe he's relocated, although he's from Kentucky. I believe he lives in Atlanta, I want to say.
Yes,
which is where he works and everything. But he mentions he talks about Kentucky and Louisville a lot on the project. He talks about on a couple tracks, he talks about wanting to date one of the girls from his hometown and getting back together with her, and he wants to keep her under wraps. He doesn't want to put her name out there. And I think that's really interesting because I know someone who knew Jack Harlow in high school, who went to high school with Jack Harlow. And what he was like back in high school, he was like totally like SoundCloud kid, like totally kind of like artsy, kind of weird, like, and he's just a totally different person now, which is really interesting. And also an interesting point about this album, I was reading Jetson Made, who produced What's Poppin', of course, famous for producing a lot of songs for DaBaby, produced, I believe, 7 or 8 of the tracks on this project, so over half.
Oh yeah, no, there was one with like there was one song that had like a gospel choir on it.
Yeah, and they were like Jetson
at the end of it was like yeah.
So
which one that is, but
that's kind of an important project for Jetson Made as well. Another project that he stamps his name on. You know, he's got various DaBaby projects where he's the main producer. Now he's got the Jack Harlow project, so he's starting to make a name out there for himself as well. So I think that's not to be ignored as well. That the rise of Jetson Made this year as a producer, I think that's been big, and it shows again on this project. And I mean, from what we've talked about, it seems like he did a great job. Seems like he really delivered some great tracks. All right.
Sorry, just one more thing to add.
Yep.
The Lil Baby feature, incredible. One of the best Lil Baby verses I've heard in a while. He went crazy.
Yeah, Lil Baby he's had a good 2020.
And
no, go ahead.
That kind of shows you, like, Lil Baby has been handing out a lot of features. But when you see someone like kind of go in, like Lil Baby went in, like, you can tell it was like a good vibe, and that he knew he had to do well on the song and wasn't like another random throwaway artist that paid him for the feature. He
had to show up.
He wrote some
effort was definitely put in.
I believe Lil Baby, I saw it recently, now charges $100,000 per feature, per verse. So
that's 2 Chainz back in the day.
He's in like the top 10 or 15 more expensive features in the world now, Lil Baby. All right. Anyone else have any insight, any comments on Jack Harlow's project?
I still like Bryson Tiller better.
Kentucky boys.
I got love for both.
Bryson Tiller? Isn't he from St. Louis?
No, he's from the LA.
Louisville, I think. Yeah, they Bryson Tiller and Jack Harlow, they made a song together. Probably, was it like 2 years ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, they made a song a couple of years ago about Louisville. All right, Jack Harlow. That's what they all say. Everyone's a fan. Let's move on.
8 out of 10.
Oh, sorry, Kalen. Did I forget to ask you for your rating?
I think so. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
My bad. Sorry about that.
No, okay.
All right, Jack Harlow. That's what they all say. Let's move on.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. This is Noah from Kolosal. That was our visual review of Jack Harlow's That's What They All Say, his debut project. This was part of a segment in our 4th podcast, which is available on Spotify. We will link that down below. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment if you have anything you want us to know. And finally, check out our socials on Twitter and Instagram. Those will also be linked down below. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.